Good morning, speakers.
Good morning.
Hello, morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys?
Please switch on the camera only when you are about to speak.
All right. All right.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning on our Access to Market webinar. This morning, we have quite an amazing lineup of speakers that will take every one of you through a absolutely, in fact, streamlined process on how to access markets in a compliant manner with minimum amounts of disruptions. My name is Alicia Logan. I head up the membership department at Proudly South African. And this morning I will take you through a program, firstly, in terms of Proudly South African, who we are and our access to market opportunities. And following me, we have an amazing lineup of speakers that will help you understand, what it is that they do that will help you to be able to access the markets. I think in terms of, the importance of this webinar today, market readiness. What really is market readiness and attractive market access? So a lot of the times what we have been experiencing, or myself as a membership manager, I've been experiencing the evolution of the manufacturing or the growth of the manufacturing sector in South Africa. And I look at our member companies and I see that they are manufacturing products that are absolutely amazing, that are able to be market ready, that are able to live on retail shelves, that are able to be listed, as vendors in a B2B environment. But ever so often, what is happening is that these member companies have the product, they have the quality certification for the product, they have the right pricing or competitive pricing for the product, they are able to manufacture the product, but they are unable to take this product to market. And having an attractive product, having an amazing product, having a product that is competitive in the marketplace, but unable to take the product to market means that that business won't be viable. So Proudly South African, while we are offering our member companies access to market, we do understand that there is a gap, and that gap is market readiness. And that gap needs to be filled in order for us to be able to successfully take our member companies to market and have them sell off retail shelves, wholesale shelves, and in a B2B environment. So that in a nutshell is really the reason for the webinar this morning. We really want to help our member companies and companies that are not members yet that wish to become members. We want to help you access the markets, but help you access them while being ready to access those markets. So I would like to then take you now through a presentation. It is a market readiness presentation, just to give you insight on Proudly South African, what it is that we do, and the market access opportunities that are available to you. Let me get into. All right. So, colleagues, I think it's very important to understand that Proudly South African is an advocacy campaign. So, we advocate for the public sector, the private sector, and the general consumer to make a local purchasing decision. Why are we doing this? What is the reason for localization? So, we are guided by key principles for localization, and one of the main principles is retaining and creating jobs. So, to create jobs and to retain jobs. Our tagline as a campaign: buy local to create jobs. The South African economy, as you know, especially within the youth, we are facing quite a challenge of youth unemployment and general, unemployment across, all sectors of the market and across all demographics. So job creation is absolutely vital in the South African economy at present. So the mandate of any localization campaign, whether it be a Proudly South African campaign or any localization campaign across the world, is really to retain and to create jobs. Skills development: as you create jobs, you are able to, create a more skilled workforce. Economic development: as you create jobs in a local environment, and as you export more than you import, you actually drive economic growth because you balance trade, and you balance trade in a positive manner. So economic development is really possible based on localization. Empowerment: we come from a socio-political background as a country where there has been, a lot of, previously disadvantaged, and empowerment of these, individuals, whether it be the youth, whether it be Black-owned businesses, whether it be women-owned businesses, is crucial, especially in a localized environment. Improve living standards: the more jobs you create, the more dignity you instill back into the communities. Infrastructure development: the more you manufacture, the more there's a need to develop factories, warehouses, and other, commercial or developments. Increase the GDP, as I said, and balance of trade. The more we manufacture locally and the more we export as opposed to import, we balance trade positively, and we increase our GDP and increase the growth of job creation in a localized market. So we are guided by these principles, and these are the reasons why we, as Proudly South African, are advocating across every single sector, whether it be public sector, private sector, and the general consumer. We are advocating for you to buy local so that we can retain jobs, create jobs, develop a skilled economy, empower the youth, empower the previously disadvantaged, create a fair and equal society and business hub where we can all, do business, create and create employment in the South African economy. We are guided by, 4 key principles: preferential procurement in the public sector, consumer education in the private sector, consumer education to the general public, and promotion or accessibility of locally made products and services. So those are our 4 guiding principles. In terms of access to market, we, Proudly South African, offers various channels. So it is not one streamlined channel. We have various channels that we allow our member companies to access the market. So if we look at these channels, we have let me just get, okay. So we have the Buy Local Expo. This is our flagship event. It happens once a year in March, every single year. It happens for 2 or 3 days, usually at the Sandton Convention Center, and we allow up to 200 of our member companies to exhibit at this, Buy Local Summit and Expo. And this is one of our expos where our member companies gain the greatest amount of exposure, because we have procurement officials that walk the floors. We have retail buyers that walk the floors. We have wholesale buyers that walk the floors. We have a matchmaking exercise where we literally bring buyers to your stands to look at your product and to view as to whether your product is something they would like to list within their retail stores. And we have so private sector procurement there, public sector procurement, the general consumer. So that is a 3-day robust flagship event where our member companies gain the greatest access to market opportunities. We have the e-commerce platform. We have an e-commerce division whereby the e-commerce manager of the division, together with our executives, have gone out and have literally created MOUs or trade exchanges or contractual agreements with companies like Zorzi, Macro Marketplace, Take a Lot, One Day Only, just to name a few, whereby they would look at our member base. They would list our member companies onto these e-commerce platforms, and then you have the opportunity to sell your product on these platforms. We have a lot of success stories of our member companies selling off these e-commerce platforms and really truly growing their business, from an economic financial perspective. We have the local wine expo. In fact, the wine expo is upon us in 2 days from now. The wine expo is a niche event, a really beautiful niche event where we take our member companies that are manufacturers of wine. We take them to the prison break market, where we allow them to exhibit their product for sale, and also to retail buyers for listing purposes. This is our 3rd year running, and we've equally have a great success stories from the local wine expo. I think it is one of those events, be it as it may, as I've confirmed, even though it's a niche, premium, beautiful event, it has created a lot of access to market opportunities for our member companies, and they come back time, year in and year out, because the exposure and the opportunity to really sell their product and gain positive marketing exposure for their product is really what this event does for our member companies. We then have the third-party expos. One of the expos that's also upon us is Decorex, where we will be taking some of our member companies to Decorex, and last year we took, as you can see on the screen, Homewood Furnitures, a really premium, beautiful manufacturer of wooden furniture, truly a proudly South African boutique offering, furniture manufacturer. We took them to Decorex, and this is another way in which our member companies can gain exposure, not just from our events, but third-party expos directly aligned to the sector that they're in. We also did AGOA, that's the American, to access markets in America, and or the USA, and that was also hugely successful. During our Buy Local Summit, we also have the localization dinner. where we have our member companies coming in and offering localization commitments. So as much as we give to you, we would like for you as member companies to give back to South Africa. So to make those localization commitments to say, I will manufacture this amount of product locally, I will increase my manufacturing capacity or local manufacturing capacity, I will ensure that I will hire a complete local workforce. So those type of localization commitments that we know will drive our localization agenda and grow it, in leaps and bounds. The matchmaking exercise, as I've said to you, the Buy Local Expo being our flagship event and the Local Wine Expo being our premium niche event, we use the matchmaking exercise to bring in buyers to match buyers with member companies that are suppliers within certain sectors. MAP, which is Market Access Platform, can be seen at, we will launch MAP soon, and MAP will be our procurement online procurement platform. So whereby buyers meet suppliers, and buyers are meeting not just suppliers that are, from anywhere. These are vetted suppliers, vetted by Proudly South African for local content, for quality, for environmental policies, and for fair labor practices, for CIPC documentation, as in company registration, VAT registration, possible CSD registration, and company, profiles, where we are able to see and look at, how what a company does, and also how they are viewed in the marketplace. So the work is already done. The vetting is almost already done by us, and these suppliers are going to live off the MAP portal, and buyers are able to have access to these suppliers. And as I said, half the work is already done for you. So an amazing online platform that will, that we will really grow the suppliers so that buyers can have access to you. And of course, website listing. So we will have our members listed on our website so that buyers can always access our website and look against 26 different sectors, and be able to go and, so if they're looking for a medical device supplier, they are able to go on our website, look across the 26 different sectors, look at which sector is relevant to what they're looking for, and find a vetted supplier that they can possibly procure from. So this is, look, we're not just limited to these market access opportunities, but these are the main opportunities that we are offering our member companies currently. And in order to be successfully listed, as I said, into retail, wholesale, or even into a B2B environment, we need our member companies, even though we vet our member companies and they have all the documentation in place, we do need our member companies to be retail ready. Market readiness is so important, because we can take you in front of a retail buyer, but you need to be able to have all the documentation available so that that retail buyer can list you quite immediately, or that wholesale buyer can list you quite immediately. So from that aspect, this is what we have on offer, but we have, as I've confirmed to you, we have a host of speakers that are going to now guide you on how to become market ready, so that when Proudly South African takes you in front of a retail buyer, a wholesale buyer, or a procurement official, you are market ready to be able to get a vendor number or to be listed successfully into retail or wholesale. So our first speaker outside of my presentation is from SEDA, Small Enterprise Development Agency. We have Cassius Mohale, who's going to take you, who's a business advisor at SEDA. And I have no doubt that Cassius is going to take you through, how you as an SMME or a manufacturer can access markets or be market ready. Without further ado, I'd like to bring in our next speaker. Over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, guys. I hope everyone is fine and doing well. And thank you, Alicia, for giving us this opportunity to engage with the clients who are in a very competitive and important space of their businesses. Hello? Guys, am I audible?
You are audible. You're most welcome to carry on.
All right, I think maybe let me turn off my video. Okay, so as I was saying, my focus today will be on the importance of market access readiness, and then we move to the barcoding. We need to understand what barcoding is, why is it so important to be on our product, the benefit of using these barcodes, and their implementation for market readiness. And then we also talk about the role of branding. Why is it important that our product needs to be branded? Another aspect that we need to discuss is the certification or accreditation in our different spaces of operations or sectors that we're operating from. So my name is Cassius, and I'm based in the Johannesburg Cedar branch. And I work with a lot of SMMEs on daily basis in different spaces. And I hope that my experience is going to add value into our SMMEs today. So when we talk about market readiness, I'm happy that Alicia also touched more on the market access and the importance of readiness. So we're not going to touch broadly on that, but I will just speak based on the compliance part of being market ready. Most of the key elements that we miss when we talk about the market readiness is the quality of our product, the safety of our product. And that makes us to also forget about the compliance. How and which standards must our product comply with for it to be market ready? And these things makes our product to not be supply chain ready, store ready, or even brand identity. You find by avoiding these elements, you also avoid or lose in having your product identity, which makes it difficult for clients to understand your product, what your product is, what ingredients does your product have. And as SMMEs, we always run away from these things, and we end up making our products to be more. Can you give me a moment, please? I told him already on WhatsApp that he's not available. Sorry about that, guys. I had a colleague that didn't know I'm in a meeting. So as a result, we miss out in a lot of opportunities. We are so urgent and eager to get our products online or to the market. And then when we are asked about the compliance of the product, that's when we are in a, what we call it, we are frustrated and we want to do quick fix. So it's very important as SMMEs, before we can say we want to market our product or we want to introduce the product to the market, we first look at the compliance of that product. It could be product testing, it could be labeling of that product. There's a whole lot of things that we need to consider before we can say, let me go to a retail store and introduce my product to them. So it's very important to first do our groundwork so that we avoid frustrations and situations where we need to do things urgent. And when things are not working out at that point where we need to implement these things, it becomes a big challenge. So it's very important to make a product and follow the right steps to ensure that your product is tested, it's got the correct information, it's got the right barcode on it, so that when you introduce it to a supplier or a retail store, if they say, give us 1,000 of this product, you are good to go with the product. Or when they ask you, can we have the test results of the product, you can easily produce that information without stress. So it's very important that we work on our products before we can say they are market ready. So without wasting time, I would want us to start with the barcoding part of our day. What is this barcoding? Why must we have a barcode in our product? Is there anyone that can maybe give us few pointers when we talk about barcoding? What is it? Anyone in our platform, our SMMEs? Fine. When we talk about barcoding, guys, for a retail store or any reseller to identify your product, to be able to know what product is this, how much is this product, we need to have a barcode. This helps us or helps our product to be represented accordingly in retail outlets. Imagine you are selling a product that doesn't have a barcode to ShopRite. When it gets to the till, how are they going to know what product is this? What price is this product? With thousands of products that they have, it becomes very difficult for them to understand what product is this. So by having a barcode, it allows us for a quick and accurate identification of our product, which include pricing, which include the name of our product, and they are also able to do inventory management and sales tracking, where if you gave ShopRite 20 product, when one product is sold, automatically they know on their inventory system that they are left with 19 product. So it helps suppliers to keep track of the stock available of your product, so that they are able to notify you, or you are able to also see from your systems that product are about to finish. So therefore, you need to be delivering additional products to your store. So we have different types of barcodes. I'm not sure if I can if I can share some of the types of barcode system with you guys. Alicia?
You're welcome to do so. You can share, yes.
Okay. Yes. Can everyone see my screen there?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yeah, so when we talk about barcodes, we talk about your EAN barcode, which is the one of the common barcode we are using in South Africa. We also have what is called UPC code. This is more of your international or universal product code, which is used internationally. And then we have the QR code, which allows for quick response, and also giving detailed product information and marketing. This is more of an image type of barcode. It doesn't have numbers, but those elements in the QR code gives a description and uniqueness of a specific product. So you will see that there's no huge difference between UAN barcode and the UPC barcode. The UPC, the EAN barcode only has an additional one number as compared to the UPC code. So the UPC code is mostly used for our international or product that we intend to sell to international market. So going through again to our barcoding, where do you get this barcode? Where do you buy these barcodes? Barcodes are not for free. You cannot go on Google and download any barcode and put on your product, because it will not be speaking to your product. You might download a barcode and put on a product. When it gets to the shelf, it says something else, because every product in the world has its unique barcode. So that is one element that we need to understand about barcoding. So if one wants to buy barcode for their product, they could engage GS1 in South Africa. There are many organizations that sells barcode, but I will recommend one approach, GS1, to get more information about barcodes for their product. And I guess every product, or there are classifications of barcodes for products. Not every barcode is for a specific, is for just any product. So there are barcodes for food, clothing, so things are different. One needs to buy barcode, and that barcode specifically becomes theirs. Let's say as an SMME, you produce 5 products. It means that you need to have 5 products for 5 barcodes for your product. And if, let's say, you are packing juice, cold drink, you've got 6 packs, 6 items that you wrap together, you must also have a barcode for the 6 items. If you have 24, 12, also you must have another barcode for the 12 and the 24, because there are customers that sometimes prefer to buy the 6 product. There are customers that prefer to buy the 12 items. So those items, if they are sold in combination, they need to have a unique barcode, other than the barcode that is printed on each of your items. So by using barcode, what do you benefit as an SMME? Can one answer me this? What would you benefit by using a barcode on your products? In the beginning of my discussion, I had mentioned two factors. Using barcodes.
I think is it for identification of your product in a retail environment, or?
Yes, 100% I agree. Because in a retail market, you will have thousands of products. You will have 2 different companies offering the same product. Or you will have 2 different organizations. Let's talk about milk. There's different companies, brands that are selling milk. Those brands does not have the same barcode. They have different barcodes because they are manufactured by different companies. So they are differentiated through a barcode when it gets to the checkout point. And the barcode allows to speed up the process of checking out. And what I called in the beginning, inventory management, where the stock remaining and the product that is sold is calculated immediately. One product is scanned out. And also, again, it reduces human error. Imagine putting a wrong price for a product. What loss could that retail store find itself? And also, you are able, let's say a customer in the shop takes 1 pint of milk and shop around, and they decide that, you know what, I'm not going to take this milk anymore. They decide to put it just anywhere. They put it where there's flowers, sugar, and so on, where it's supposed not to be. So when they go back that side, when the milk stays, they see that normal, there's 1 item missing when we count. How are they going to know that the product left the store or it is still in the store? They are only going to know that by using the inventory management system, where they can trace the product, that the product was not sold, is still in the store, meaning we need to make sure that we pack accordingly. We look for items that do not belong to these aisles and put them where they belong. And also, it must meet the regulatory compliance or requirements. I mean, the GS1 South Africa, which ensures the standards for product identification, they would want to see a product with a barcode to protect the consumers and to also have the trace of such product. So the cost associated with barcode. Barcodes, as we mentioned earlier, they are different in designs and also by the way they look. So the cost depends on what kind of barcode is a person wanting to implement in their product. of which if you consult GS1, you should be able to know the pricing involved in barcoding, the maintenance of that barcodings, and so on. Any question up to so far? Any question?
I don't think this is one of those interactive, unfortunately, webinars. So I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
fine. I think what I'll do is I'll take questions in the Q&A box and I'll
Okay.
refer it to you so that you can answer it afterwards.
All right, no problem. Thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
So when implementing the barcode for market access, there are some factors which you need to take note of. Number one, you need to choose the right barcode type for your product, meaning you must start by selecting the most appropriate barcode type and consider your target market and the industry requirements. Like I said in the beginning, each industry, each product type has its type of barcode that is registered, that is required. Next, you need to register with GS1 South Africa so that you can have your unique identifier. So GS1 will enable you to obtain a unique product identifier, and this step is also regulated. It's part of the compliance. They will want to know what kind of product are you offering, which market are you selling your product. So if you are selling your product locally, it means that your barcode needs to be a local barcode. If you are selling your product internationally, or you're selling for both market, both local and international, there must be a barcode for international market. There must be a barcode for local market. And also you need to integrate your barcode with inventory management systems. It could be your inventory management system, but also including the supplier that you want to sell your product to. If you want to sell your product to SPAR, they will ask you to submit your barcodes for each of your products before you get listed as a supplier. Another thing that we always avoid is training our staff regarding the barcode handling and its processes. So even you as the owner of the business, you need to attend your advanced training about barcoding, handling, registration, so that you can have the full understanding about this process and also the implementation of this process and the complications associated with barcoding. You will recall sometimes when a manufacturer does a product and they tell you this product with this kind of barcode has been recalled in all outlets. The product manufactured between this date and this date has been recalled. There has been some mistakes or mishandling of the product. It arises sometimes because you find that a wrong barcode was printed on the product, or the nutritional analysis of such product, there was a mistake. There is a new ingredient or protein, whatever it is on the product that was not mentioned on the product. Sometimes such things arise, and barcode also help us in identifying such products. So now we will need to then move to the role of branding. The role of branding when you want to enter the market access. In the beginning, I spoke about product testing, where, for example, you make a product as the owner, and you feel that this product is good for market to consume because I am consuming it already. You decide to make more products, you brand your products, you come up with the nutritional values because you know what items you've used in your product, and then you take it to the market to advertise it, and people start liking the product. And then you say, no, man, I need to take my product now to Checkers or to Woolworth to sell for me. You get there and they tell you that, look, before you can supply us, we want 1, 2, 3 of your product. Were your product tested? You say, no, they were tested. Give us the test results. You don't have those results because you believe that the steps you took while you were manufacturing the product at your factory meets the requirement. And you've already printed stickers and made a lot of product because you want to sell. That is the biggest mistake most SMMEs make. Before you can do that, the first step that you need to do is to make sure that you get your product to be tested so that you will have proper nutritional analysis of your product, which thereafter you can print your brand, your labeling materials in conjunction with the test results, including the shelf life analysis. Shelf life, you don't just put a date in your products out of nowhere. Shelf life also needs to be analyzed, that if you say this product can stay for 12 months without any issues, someone else needs to, labs, we've got different labs that test product. It needs to be tested to say what this owner is saying about this product. We need to check if it's correct, that this product can remain for 12 months. It can be consumed by people within the 12 months period. So it needs to be tested, and that date which you put on your product needs to be a date that has been verified. So in most cases, we run to branding before we can follow these steps. It's very important that before we can get to that step of branding our product, we have already done our homework and our groundwork to ensure that our product meets the requirement. So when it comes to product branding, your product need to portray the image of your company as the product owner, meaning it must have visual symbol representation of your brand. It must have the logo. It must also have the brand values, the contact details of the manufacturer, the packed date, including the nutritional analysis of the product. When we talk of the expiry date as well, it must be stipulated on your product. It could be through stamp, it could be through printing directly on your product labeling materials if you print each time you manufacture your product. So that product becomes a brand representation of your company. So it is very much important that when you brand your product, it defend the brand of the business, and it must contain all the necessary information that is required on your product. And that's where we can say this branding has the business has a strong benefit from the brand out there. Sometimes you don't have to share flyers out there. You don't have to share information about your product, but the product itself, when it's on the shelf, it markets the business through the looks and the components that are on the product. So one of the most important aspects of for you as the company to have a brand or building a brand that is effective is through those items that I've mentioned, so that it's able to create a memorable environment for the customers. There are many brands that started with just one product, and over time, when they introduce new product, they didn't have to do a robust marketing campaigns, because that one product that they have made has created a memorable environment to their client, and it has created a trust environment where people trust a brand. To give an example, if I'm allowed to, we all know how we knew Sunlight as that green bar soap manufacturer, and later they came with the washing powders, dishwashing, even the bathing soap. Now there's fabric softeners and so on. But you can tell that the brand has maintained its credibility through the years, because in all their products, it has always been about Sunlight. So as the product producer, you need to know that when you introduce different, especially when we do multiple products, we need to ensure that our name remains, the brand remains. It's just a new product, but different flavor or different items, but still belonging to the same brand. That alone creates credibility and enable customers to remain loyal and also to keep remembering the brand at all times. So the last part, hello?
Cassius, if I can just come in there quickly.
Yes.
Because we are slightly out of time for your slot, but we have two very important questions that I'd like to pose to you. One of the attendees has asked, they've read that CEDA will be merging with CIFA. Is this true?
That is true.
Okay.
I'm safe to respond to that since it was published yesterday.
Okay.
That the amendment bill of 1996 of small businesses has been signed. So the process will start taking place, and update will be given appropriately on the right platforms.
Okay, so the next question is, thank you for that answer. The next question is, and I think it's a shame, it's a very important question. A lot of the times, especially in webinars, we talk to it, but we don't give clear guidance for our attendees. Will there be a better, more streamlined process now that there's a merge or acquisition? Would there be a more streamlined process for financial application? Do you know, with CIFA, now that CEDA and CIFA would be working as one entity? Let me give you an example. If I had a product and I wanted to take it to retail, and I wanted CEDA to do the testing for me and CIFA to finance me, will it be now one sort of streamlined process?
Look, new programs has been designed.
Yes.
And they will be implemented in the new coming organization. I'm not comfortable to say what program will they be.
Okay, that's fine.
The implementation of this new entity is to make things easy for SMMEs. They
Yes.
want to make a one-shop stop where SMMEs get assistance in one place as compared to going to two different places. And during the process, no SMME or no service delivery will be affected.
Okay, that's actually very good. And then the last question that we have, in terms of the testing process, so when CEDA does, the testing of products, is there do you know if there's any preferential rates for SMEs to get their products tested? Because sometimes one of the access to market opportunities that is missed is that people don't have ISO certification or test reports because they're far too costly for a small business. Is there anything that CEDA can do, can offer maybe to be a little bit more cost effective for SMEs?
Maybe let me start by saying CEDA is a non-financial support institution.
Mhm.
We work with various institutions that specializes in product testing, the quality management system implementation and certification. So it depends on the test being done for such SMME and for such products. Where, for example, if we are to say we need to get SABS to test the product, they will then give us a quotation to say this is how much the test will cost, and then we come up with actions to assist such SMMEs from that effect. So I wouldn't really determine what cost it could it be, what measures could it be taken, but the SMME does get assisted with getting their product tested without them paying a CEDA for that process.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for those answers. I don't see any more questions in the chat box. We have reached our time for this specific slot, but thank you very, very much for your participation and for the very valuable information. Do you mind if we share this recording with some of our participants, because I think it's very valuable information that they would need to, review at a later stage.
No, I don't mind.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your time. We will now move on to the next speaker. Right, colleagues, we now move on to our next speaker, who is Martin. Martin, I'm so scared that I'm going to get your surname wrong, but I'm sure you're going to pronounce it perfectly for us. Martin is from the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa. As you just heard, shortly or in the previous presentation, CGCSA is GS1. The Consumer Goods Council of South Africa, representing over 9,000 member companies in the consumer goods, retail and service sector. Martin, we welcome you to the webinar this morning. I was at, CGCSA offices about 2 weeks ago, and I was blown away with their offering. And I know that Martin is going to come in and give us much valuable information that is going to help our member companies and our participants this morning to understand more clearly what it is that they do and how they can help you to become retail or market ready. Over to you, Martin. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Alicia, and the Proudly South African team for inviting our organization to showcase and share what we can do for the members on how they can trade better and how they can become market ready and make their products or services attractive so that we as consumers can subscribe to them. My name is Martin Cairo. I form part of the GS1 South Africa team. I have over 8 years experience in this industry, supporting 25 industry vectors to understand what the standards are and also implement them in their business operations. So for the interest of time and also for bandwidth, I will switch off my video and I will share the presentation. We will be co-partnering with my colleague. His name is Tendo. And if you can please confirm that you do see the presentation.
Martin, I don't see it at present.
Okay, let me just reshare.
Yes, now it's visible. Thank you.
Okay. So we, as Alicia mentioned, we are called GS1 South Africa, trading as the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa. There are two value propositions within those two divisions. One pillar lobbies and advocates on behalf of members. And we are talking about non-competitive issues that affect members within the retail industry or consumer packaged goods industry. The reason why we specialize on non-competitive issues is because we are a not-for-profit organization, and we are able to bring so-called competitors on the same table to discuss issues that might affect them. The GS1 pillar is more on what Cassius mentioned in terms of compliance of product identification, getting those unique identifiers on your products, shippers, cases, pallets, the data carrier that is scanned, so the actual barcode technology. And Tendo will speak about the migration from one-dimensional barcodes, which we have been exposed to for over 50 years, and then what we are calling next generation barcodes powered by GS1. So all your QR codes and nice to have. For us, market readiness and attractiveness is basically looking at how, as small businesses, how do we get into, operate successfully and succeed in retail in South Africa, in SADC, or anywhere else in the world, right? What should members who are planning to move to this space, what do they do to do more so that they can achieve their growth goals? Because we're all here, yes, to have a business, but we also want to grow and be sustainable. So how are we going to achieve our growth goals as well as our sales growth? What are we not aware of? Yeah, because again, if you are running your own business, you're playing multiple roles within that business. So in some instances, there are things that fall through the cracks, things that you need to comply to in order to become successful or be considered when you're moving into the retail level. So we're talking about compliance, testing of your products, correct labeling, assigning unique barcode numbers and identifiers. Are there any regulatory compliance within the industry that you're playing in, etc.? And lastly, how do you give your brand superpowers, right? How does it stand out from all the other competing brands within the category that you're targeting? How do you tell a story about your brand? Because in retail, it's all about telling a story. We as consumers subscribe to your story based on how truthful you are or how we perceive trust, how much data you've given us about your product, right? How have you packaged your product, and ultimately how you've priced your product. So how do you let your brand sell itself, right, without you being physically there? So we will touch on what the organization does, and it's similar to what Alicia said, right? The consumer goods industry contributes about 1 trillion to the 5 trillion annual GDP. So roughly about 20% of economic production runs from this industry. It employs more than 2.5 million people, which is around 16% of the entire national labor force. it's an essential service, as what we witnessed during COVID. We facilitate access to government services, which is needed for the society, such as SASSA grants nationally. Nowadays, SASSA grants can be received at retail shops, healthcare, food security, to improve household welfare, and also to contribute to the socioeconomic development of communities. We do this through the positive transformation of the country, which is exactly that, localization. How do we create and retain jobs, right? How do we provide skills for our SMMEs through development projects? And I'll touch on one. How do we make sure that there's food security and safety within our market? How do we provide consumer value? Because ultimately everyone is in this value chain for consumers or for patients. What investments are required, and how do we kind of segment those investments? And also skills development and job creation, right? The vision of the Consumer Goods Council is to be a leading platform for engagement of consumer goods manufacturers and retailers in South Africa. The mission is to improve non-competitive consumer goods industry business practices through collaboration, advocacy, and action, which ultimately benefits us as consumers. We have 5 business units. And I'll run through each one of them as per the order. We have a unit called Transformation, Training, and Development. This pillar supports transformation through positive contribution. We combine efforts with industry and government to position skills development as the core of employability. We have training programs and value-added projects that we offer, such as the SMME Shelf Readiness Program. And this program is aimed to prepare SMMEs for retail success, basically the topic or the theme for this webinar, by equipping them with all the essential knowledge, compliance practices, regulations, to ensure they can efficiently market and get their food into the retail environment and ultimately onto the shelves. Another project that this division offers is graduate placements. They work closely with the wholesale and retail SETA, WNR SETA, and they are able to place graduates either in our own organization as well as our member organization. We have over 9,000 members across the industry. Then we have what we call the Consumer Goods Crime Risk Initiative. And this initiative addresses and mitigates the variety of crime risks in the value chain by engaging with law enforcement agency, SAPS, National Prosecuting Authority, SARS, and other state security organs, so that we can deal with counterfeit, illicit trade, so that we can deal with raids on some of those garage factories where people are making their own products, which are fake and should not be consumed. This division is not limited to armed robberies, burglaries, CIT incidents, fraud and theft, truck hijacking, as well as illicit and trade counterfeits. Then we have the legal, regulatory, and stakeholder engagement. And this pillar shapes the legal, regulatory, and policy environment through advocacy and lobbying of key decision makers so that our members are able to trade better while building and maintaining relationship with those key stakeholders. And through this advocacy and lobbying, we are able to create an enabling environment for the viability and sustainability of the members within this sector. Some of the success stories will be mentioned on the next slide on what they have done, this specific division. Then we have the food safety and sustainability pillar division. And this platform is a leading platform for engagement on food safety and quality, health, wellness, sustainability, and related regulatory matters. aligned to your sustainable development goals. They are the trusted source of valuable resources for labeling assessment, especially if you are in the food making business, as well best practices for production identifiers, like your best before, use by, expiry date, etc. And also they provide food safety legislative training so that by the time you are ready to launch, you have ticked all the boxes when it comes to a compliance level. Right? Then the last division is the Global Standards and Solution Division, and this is the one that leads global standards. We implement the most widely system of standards, which most people know as the barcode. And this is used to improve the efficiency of supply chain, as Kasia said. We're able to uniquely identify your products within the supply chain, accurately capture your information on a barcode, so that when it goes beep at checkout, we're able to know what your product is, what it does, what flavor it is, the price, and I can be out of the shop. The other thing I would like to add on the benefits of unique identification is track and trace. Having that unique identifier allows you to be able to track and trace back within the supply and value chain and be able to respond quickly where there are maybe adverse effects of a product within the market. Basically, it allows you to recall and manage your brand reputation much easier and much quicker. Some of the success stories for this division, and this division is the barcoding one, which Tendo will speak to on the next slide. So some of the highlights and wins, we have tackled illicit and counterfeit trading, where we have a illicit hotline. So if you consume a product that you deem to be fake or illicit, you can anonymously report it on this hotline, and also the app, which we have since launched, and Tendo will speak to that, which is a consumer app. Collaboration with law enforcement, which is SAPS, which have seen a lot of illicit cigarettes that have been confiscated at different border points. We have a good relationship with the National Liquor Traders Association. There was positive engagement with policymakers and regulators around the COVID regulation, increased advocacy and lobbying, industry research on how do we define cost of doing business in SA. Is it viable or is it not? We have our flagship industry summit, which is coming up on the 9th of October. And I would recommend that you go to our website, cgcsa.co.za, and you can register for it. It's a similar event where we bring decision makers, buyers in one room, so that you can promote your product and potentially get your foot in retail. We have an established PRO, which is your producer responsibility organization. There's more information on our website. Sustainability and climate change roadmap for the industry. Sustainability is becoming a hot topic based on what regulations we have. We have a South African food loss and waste management initiative, healthy food options industry initiative, SMME development, that's the retail shelf readiness, our foundation. We are the only private sector seat at NECOM, and also CETA sector employee skilling, which goes back to those graduate placements. So we do have an array of services. It's entirely up to you as a member to see where you can plug and play and reach out to us so that we can take your business to the next level. I'm going to hand on now over to my colleague Tendo, who will take you through the GS1 part. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning to everybody on the line. My name is Tendo Perseverance Nchishive. I don't have a big CV like my colleague who just presented with GS1. He has a lot of history with GS1 because he's been working here for so long. For the longest of time, I've been working in the retail industry, but at corporate level in Massmart. So today, I'll take you through what GS1 is. I'll just switch off my camera for the benefit of the bandwidth. Sorry for the delay. Cool. So GS1, who GS1 is? GS1 is a global standards organization. It's a non-profit organization, as my colleague mentioned. So we are in 118 countries globally. 10 billion scans, 10 billion GS1's barcodes are scanned daily. There's over 100 million products that carry GS1 barcodes. So there's more than 2 million companies that use GS1 standards. So that what does that mean? If you buy a barcode from GS1 South Africa today and package it on a product, that barcode can be recognized. That barcode can be recognized in America, in the European countries, or in Asia. As my colleague mentioned previously, GS1 is rooted on these three core pillars, standards, where we uniquely identify products, places, and assets, capture the identity and more in a barcode, and we share that information with trading partners and consumers. I'll share about how we do that later on. So when you buy barcodes from us, we do offer training once you've bought barcodes to understand our Activate platform. So this platform is ideally for brand owners to use when giving attributes to a barcode, when you associating a barcode with a product. So we give you this platform where you get access to it. We do train you on it. So as you can see here, a license key is associated with a specific product. We do show you that. Once you've attached the information to the barcodes, the product attributes to the barcodes, we run some verification checks in the background. It takes a day or two, and then that product will be verified and pushed to a verified by GS1, as you see here, where all external parties will have access to 8 attributes of your products, key attributes like the company name, product name, and your website, and all other key non-competitive information about your product. So this verified by GS1 feeds into the app that my colleague Martin mentioned. So due to the rise in illicit products and counterfeit products, we developed this app to combat this trade, this illegal trade. So as you can see here on the screen, when you've downloaded the app, my GS1ZA app, you can scan a barcode or input a barcode manually. So in this instance, this barcode is being scanned. Once scanned, it results in this: a product image, the barcode number, the brand, product description. There's also company information. This is fed through through verified by GS1. This is information that you as brand owners feed to us. You can, if right now you have your phone close by, you can scan one of the QR codes here and then download the app. I'll just give it a few seconds. I won't take much of your time. You can scan the QR code here below. Scan this QR code or just search this name on Play Store or iStore. I'm not gonna sit much on this. So on the 26th of June, 1974, there was the first scan. So currently this year, on the 26th of June, 2024, we celebrated our 50th scanniversary, so we call it, of the barcode, right? And we do realize that this barcode has been in trade for 50 years. But now we have to move with the times. We have to add more information to the barcode. Hence, this love story, the beginning of a new revolution. So as you see here, this is the traditional barcode that we're used to. We're marrying this barcode with the internet to produce the next generation barcode, which is a 2D barcode. Consumers will have more information about your product with the 2D barcode. In this 2D barcode, you can put an expiry date which will not be erased from a product. Currently, expiry dates are written. You can see the best before, the manufacture date stamped on the side of the product. But with this 2D barcode, you can encrypt all that information inside a barcode where nobody can erase the expiry date or play around with your product. So why is a transition needed to 2D barcode? I've just said some of the examples, but consumers expect quick access to product information, which a 2D barcode can give them. Product packaging contains too many symbols. Sometimes it is confusing for consumers. So with the 2D barcode, it simplifies that. And the current linear barcode has limits and it cannot hold additional data. Hence the 2D barcode. So currently you would see the aim is for 2027 to have all retailers scan 2D barcodes on their point of sale system. We are running a trial currently, and if you're a cognitive consumer, you would notice that some products come with two barcodes. There will be a linear barcode and a QR code attached to them. It's still being tried out, but we hope by 2027, a lot of consumers, retailers will be able to scan a 2D barcode in their point of sale system, and also brand owners will have 2D barcodes on their brands. Listing with retailers made easy. So we are in partnership with Takealot, Amazon, some of the e-commerce platforms, the big retailers, Spar, Pick n Pay, Clover, Unilever, Massmart, all the big guys. We are in partnership with them. So we offer a listing service, a separate listing service as outside our barcodes that enables you to list a product, and that product gets shared to all the retailers, all the big retailers immediately. So what is it? It is the Global Synchronization Network, GDSN. So it makes it possible for any company in any market to share high quality product information seamlessly, because companies of all sizes need the same thing, timely and reliable product information, to ultimately benefit the consumer and patients. So it enables trading partners and you as SMMEs to share information with Pick n Pay, your Tiger Brands, all of those big retailers you can share information with. So it was launched in 2004. There's now 3.31 million products listed from 2019, since 2019. There's 55,000 plus companies using GDSN currently. So our contact information, yeah, it is. Our colleague from CEDA really helped us a lot in bringing GS1 South Africa to life. We are the authorized issuer of barcodes. So if you have a barcode and it does not start, if you have bought a barcode in South Africa, specifically in South Africa, and it does not start with the 600 number, that barcode is incorrect. It's a wrong barcode. You have to buy a barcode from GS1 South Africa, and it starts with the 600 number. If you right now, today, after the seminar, walk into a Pick n Pay store, check the product, you will see that the products inside Pick n Pay or Spar, they start with the 600 number. So this is our contact information. We are very big on LinkedIn, so you can follow us on LinkedIn. But if you have any questions, we are open to answering your questions. I did answer some of our colleagues in the Q&A asking where to buy barcodes. I did send some text, but we will take questions when the Q&A session arises, or as and when the program director allows us to take questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that valuable information. Please do share the presentation with us, as I see there's numerous, a number of requests in the chat box for the presentation. I do know that our member companies have been really and truly reaping the rewards of coming to you for the retail readiness programs. We also going to share some success stories with you as CGCSA, whereby our member companies are already sitting at listings with retailers post the retail readiness program that you held with them. So there's actually 2 success stories that we'd love to share with you. So keep on doing the great work that you do. And thank you so much for that presentation. Colleagues,
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, I will forward them to you. But if you could share the presentation, that would help a lot. Thank you. Colleagues, we now move on to CIPC, that is the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission. Recently, Proudly South African has been working very closely with the CIPC or BIS portal. We find that their service offering is a complete offering to assist all of our member companies and non-member companies with the correct compliance documentation for any business, whether you're wanting to access retail markets, whether you're wanting to just run your business. Their services is, from listing your company, from registering for VAT, SARS, everything. The offering is a complete offering on BIS portal. I am not the expert on the portal, so for that reason, we have Ofense, who's joining us today from CIPC. I must say a huge thank you, because it was really an overnight thing where we contacted CIPC and said, will you come and talk to the BIS portal offering? And they were kind enough to say, yes, we will make time and we will take member companies and participants through the process. In terms of our service offerings. So a very big thank you to CIPC and BIS portal. And over to you, Ofense.
Good morning. I'm not sure am I audible.
Yes, you're audible.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone and the audience too. I am Ofense Shakung from the CIPC. I'm not sure, should I switch on my camera? I think what I've been seeing is that everyone has been off for the sake of bandwidth. So I think perhaps I'll just remain with it being off. I'll today be taking you through processes that are available on one of our streamline sites, which is the BIS portal. If you remember correctly, the time we promulgated or went live with the BIS portal was at a time where just before COVID. So we've used the BIS portal as a site for many other services besides just company registration. I'm not sure I'm sharing a presentation. Could you just highlight if you are able to see it?
The presentation, yes, we're able to see it.
You're able to see it. Now, we just want to first cover the legal stuff. It's always required on us to make certain that people understand firstly who the CIPC is and what our role is before it is that we cover how it is that we go about offering our services to the public and business owners. You might remember there was previously a unit called CIPRO at the DTI, Council for the Registration. But upon the saw the merger between CIPRO and OCIP to then form the CIPC. And what we know today to be a CIPC is an organization obviously that does company registration, close cooperation, cooperatives, as well as intellectual property, which is the trademarks, copyrights, designs, and patents. But as a regulator, we don't only focus on the registration part of things, but we also focus on the regulation thereof of these sectors, and also local and international reporting on the performance, either be it financial or compliance of companies within the Republic. Now, maybe as you're sitting there, you might wonder, why should I register a company? Why compliance? Why must I formalize my entity? Besides the fact that you are now going to have a juristic person that you run a business from, but for the sake of due diligence, when you're applying for business financing, they require you to be a formalized business. To do business mostly with big entities, they require you to register on their database as a registered business. To apply for incentives, and I think more prominent with this audience would be also to list products or inventions with retailers. You would obviously be required to be a registered entity. Now, as the CIPC, we went out and thought, if it is that to run a business, the first and foremost step you would take is registering a business. How about we make that process the most simplest process ever, just so that it is easy to access market, it is easy to incorporate, and also there is no red tape in being able to establish just a company. Because I mean, in most countries and economies, how we look at the ease of doing business, the first step is how easy it is to register a company. So now on this portal, what we've done is that we've created a straight-through process, meaning it is an automated process that happens electronically on the BIS portal site. And with a single application that you would do to register a company on BIS portal, firstly, we verify obviously your identity with Home Affairs to know who is the person registering the company. But with that single application form on this portal to register a company, you are able to register a company. Firstly, you'd have a certificate sent to you to confirm the company's registration of a private company. Automatically, we send information to the revenue services for a registered tax number for your business. If it happens that you do have employees with the same application, you can submit a UIF and a compensation fund application to register those employees with the UIF and compensation if you do have employees. With the same application, you are able to obtain a triple BEE certificate, a BE certificate for free. You are also able to initiate the opening of a business bank account with the big banks within the Republic. Basically, you would just select the bank that you would like to open your business bank account with. Then we on the back end obviously send that information to that specific bank, and they will then obviously contact you to obviously finish off with the FICA stuff. But primarily, the business bank account will, in essence, already be open. And we're also offering you a national small business chamber membership for a year free when you do register this company using our BIS portal site. Now, one would ask, if you had to go to any service provider, which us as the CIPC do not advise business owners to do, you would ask how much would this all cost to register this company? And our registration fee as the CIPC to register a company is only 175 Rand. Now, I do know that there is a lot of people in the business sector who always say that they are able to provide these services to the public on behalf of the CIPC. There is no such. CIPC does not have agents. So we always advise business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs to rather do business directly with the CIPC as opposed to going through a service provider. And that the reason for that also is we've made most of these applications online and simple to use. I know there might be questions. I don't know, Alicia, we might take them perhaps at the end of my presentation. Now, the other services that are offered on this portal, this is the services site on this portal. We're building quite a lot on the due diligence and the ease of doing business on this specific site. You might perhaps know, as the CIPC, we do have our main website, which is the CIPC e-services, where a lot more transactions are sitting on. But the business portal, one, is for the ease of transacting, and two, is also a site we use to collaborate with other industry regulators or business entities. So just going through the options that are given there, I'll start at the top left and I'll go row by row till we get to the bottom. This profile is just another effort that we try to offer business to be able to do their own due diligence when they're doing business. So when you're going into a business deal with someone and they provide you with their registration number, you're able to come here on this portal, click on this profile, and put in that registration number to see firstly, is the company registered? Is the person saying that they are who they say they are in that company appearing on our site? And secondly, is the company active? The details they've given to you as far as their addresses and so forth, is it the same as what is appearing on our site? We've seen it to be very helpful with a lot of people conducting business due diligence, where they're able to pick up that a lot of people who tried frauding them or scamming them with business information that is not consistent with what we have on our records. The second one to that is the company registration. That is where you are able to follow all of those processes that I've mentioned. That when you register a company, all those services in one application will be coming through on the specific options. The SARS services, in the future, we're hoping that some of the services that you register with the revenue services will be offered obviously on this portal. At this current point, the SARS service is only for information dissemination that gives you understanding what is required of you as a business owner from the revenue services. Now, on the second line, we have a domain name registration. Domain name registration, for just simple explanation, it is the web address that you would obviously see when you go onto specific website. So when you go www dot, whatever it is that you write before the .co.za or the .com, that name or URL or domain name is applied for and is registered. So we are in agreement with ZEDNA, who regulates domain names, where you are able to register your own domain name at a cheaper price, obviously. And thereafter, you are able to obviously get a hosting service to host your website. Now, the following service, the B certificate of compensation fund and the URF registration. If you have an existing company already and you would like to take advantage of these services, you can obviously do so as well. It's not only for new registration. Should you have an existing company and you would like a B certificate, you now perhaps if have employees, you want to register with the compensation and the URF, or rather want to open a business bank account, you can also use the service as an existing entity. Now, for compliance side of things, if you have an existing company and you would like to conduct a name change or an address change or file what we call annual returns, which is required to be filed on a year-to-year basis for all companies, this is obviously where you can take advantage of that specific service. And you're able to see there the National Small Business Chamber member benefit, as well as the Proudly SA. As Alicia has said, we have been working closely with Proudly SA to try and expand not only the work that they do, but also to give easier access to local businesses and local product developers to have easier and direct access to Proudly SA, and when they do interact with us as the CIPC. So these are all the services currently that are being offered on this portal for new entities as well as for existing companies. Now, as business owners, one other thing that we would advise you to do, we're offering a free online course for company directors. The main reason we've done this is just to make others aware of, when you're running a business, what is required of you. What is required of your actions? What is required of your conduct? What is required on compliance? of you as a director. This is a completely free online course. Those are the modules that we are covering at this current point in time, of which at the end of the module, we do provide you with a certificate of completion regarding you having went through the director training with the CIPC. We will be extending on this modules in the near future. But at this point, the main reason why we're doing this is just to make certain that directors understand what duties are required of them to avoid a situation later on where you are conducting business with big business and they are requiring certain information from you, and it happens that you now are not aware of that specific information that would be required of you. So this will be a completely free online course. Now, I know Alicia spoke that we were covering only this portal, but when we looked at the kind of audience we'll be having today, we saw it fitting to also speak about the protection of intellectual property. I do gather that a lot of the audience today are product owners and product developers who obviously want to access market, want to access the retail space. And it will be injustice on us as an organization if we don't inform you of other elements that you would just have to be aware of when you go into such a space. Now, there are 4 types of intellectual property that one can register. One being patents, trademarks, copyright, and designs. Just in loose explanation, patents, we're speaking about inventions or products of unique type, novice products. We're not speaking about a product that you have that's existing and you just changed something. We speak about something that is completely done from scratch, that obviously the formula thereof or the thinking behind it can be protected as a patent to obviously avoid saturation of your invention. The other one, which is one that I would advise a lot of the audience today to really explore, is trademarks, where we're speaking about protecting your brand name, your slogan, and your logo as a brand. The previous speaker spoke about unique identifiers of your product, and it's only wise to be a product owner that obviously protects your brand to avoid tomorrow having people obviously trying to stifle or trying to imitate the product that you have. At least if it's registered, you would obviously then have legal recourse. I mean, in the next slide, perhaps you'll get a bit of a better picture. But now, copyright and designs. Designs mostly speak about certain type of ornaments or furniture or machinery and how they are compiled, and the shape thereof obviously can then be protected under designs. And copyright refers to your written material, to your films, to your songs, and so forth. With copyright, especially in the music side, we also work very closely with your SAMROs, who obviously regulate the music space. Now, just to give you an idea, especially when it comes to trademarks, all the big brands that you are able to identify by just seeing their logo, you are able to know which brand that is. And all those brands have registered all that, either be it a logo or the brand name, being protected as as a trademark. I mean, today, if we have to ask you today, tomorrow, together, you would know exactly which brand we're talking about. If we say just do it, you know which brand we are talking about. And all of those are investments that companies make in brand positioning their organizations and their brands in the consumer market, because obviously, once you go into the retail space, how it's important as content that is inside the product itself. So we've also made this process a bit easier in trying to make the process available to register yourself a trademark online. Should you not be certain of the uniqueness of the trademark, be it your brand name, you can conduct a trademark search on our IP online website, which is an online filing platform for our intellectual property. But property registration is 590 Rand, and that is an online application that you can also make on IP online. There is different classifications where you see there it says third classification. There's different classifications that describe the type of product you are protecting the trademark under. So based on the product that you have, or that you've come up with, or that you own, There's different classifications that hold different products. You just have to just go through the classifications to see that the product you have, which of the classifications it falls under, and obviously do submit that application to protect the look and feel of your brand. Now, those are just our communication platforms as the CIPC, and obviously one also as this portal. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you very much. I hope there's questions.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Very, very insightful. The chat box, the only thing people want is access to the presentation. I think that will help them understand the steps that they need to take in terms of the service offering. Big market for, okay. I'm just looking at more of the questions. Okay. Yeah, I think there's just a request for the presentation and the recording. Thank you so much to CIPC. You guys have been so amazing, and thank you for accommodating us at the very last minute. We really do appreciate that. And our affiliation with you is really something that we value. Thank you very much to all of the speakers today. Thank you for your valuable contribution. I can see in the chat box that people are really excited about what they've seen today, and I think it does make such a big difference into helping our member companies and the participants outside of membership as well to understand the steps they need to take for market readiness. I will, if there's any other questions related to each of the speakers, I will send that through to you on email. If you are able to share your presentation with Lesego so that I can share it with the participants, that would be great. Thank you very much to our participants this morning. Thank you for joining the webinar, and thank you very much to our speakers. We really appreciate your time, your presentation, and all of your offerings. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our webinar. If you have any questions, you're most welcome to email myself and Lesego. Our details are in the chat box. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.